Good afternoon, gorgeous humans. I did a post just now about cognitive dissonance. Really, what was the quote? Changing your mind is the best evidence that you still have one. One of my beautiful, beautiful friends, James, told me that, and it's something that I was really grateful to hear. And it's something that's really allowed a lot of imperfections in allowing and entertaining different thoughts and different possibilities, because it takes away the premise that things need to be perfect and that you need to be fixed and the same person and all that sort of thing, which in a personal growth journey and in personal development is impossible. You can't stay the same person and become a new person or improve or anything like that. It's just not possible. However, you can become a better self, which is the idea, but that requires change. So what is cognitive dissonance? What does it look like? Like on the ground, what does it look like? For one thing, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I have my notifications on. Anyway, we'll push through. For one thing, I find cognitive dissonance is that real discomfort in your head where you feel as though something that you have known all your life, or a belief that you have, or an idea that you have, or even the way you perceive someone, you now receive information that challenges that. And it's making you have to question whether that belief system, whether that person, if it is showing up to you, or if you are perceiving it in the right or in the most accurate way. So a bit of evidence or a case study for this would be a few years ago, I went and saw a therapist and just talked through a relationship that was dissolving at the time. And she said, "Oh, are you a victim of domestic violence?" And I said, "No, he's never hit me." And she's like, "No, there are far more things other than, just physical violence that actually has to do with domestic violence and domestic abuse." And in all honesty, that hit me for six. It completely slapped me over the head. I did not want to accept that, to the point that I actually did not go back to that practitioner because I was struggling with that idea. I'm like, I don't see myself as a victim. I don't identify with that. That can't be right. Like, maybe she's just over the top. But then I look back on it, and that was absolutely the case. I wouldn't say that I am a victim of domestic violence, but there was behaviors there that I allowed to continue that were abusive. And that is classified as domestic violence. So sometimes it's things happening to us. It can be religious beliefs. So when I went through and changed my beliefs around religion, that was something that it was instilled in me from birth. That's all I had known. And to become a 29-year-old woman and completely changing my belief system away from an organized religion and into more of a spiritual individual connection with my creator, that was there was a cognitive dissonance there. I felt a definite pull one direction and a pull to stay in the same place. So, and just because you're having cognitive dissonance too doesn't mean that you're just about to change. It could be that your view is about to open up, which is incredible. However, we aren't going to be able to have that greater understanding, the greater insight or perception, unless we hold space for that cognitive dissonance, right? So it's through that discomfort. What it is doing is our brain is literally starting to make new neuro connections, which is such a beautiful thing, because it literally means that we are growing. We are expanding, this is evolution of self, right? This is self-alchemy. It's uncomfortable, but holding the space for that is literally where the alchemy is performed. And if you try and rush through it, just like trying to get a butterfly out of a cocoon, if you rush it too much, that butterfly will not have the strength to fly. Oh my gosh. Maybe I might just see if I can mute the notifications. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, that is such a terrible sound. So, you can also see this in there are people that we know who are in domestic violence relationships. And, we might think, well, why don't they leave? It's so obvious. Why don't they leave? But in actual fact, they don't necessarily, they're in a state of cognitive dissonance. They can see that some of the behaviors are wrong, but they don't think that they're wrong enough to leave, or they don't have the strength to leave. It's literally the going through and the alchemizing through the cocoon. We can't pull them out because then there's not going to be an element of learning. And without that element of learning, then it's a pattern that'll be repeated, as uncomfortable as that is. Now, what comes with cognitive dissonance is this element of confirmation bias, which is basically whenever we have a belief, we look for evidence to support that belief, and we also look for evidence that disproves the opposite, right? So that way we're safe and comfortable in our belief. But then the moment that we start to see evidence that it is actually maybe our beliefs aren't right in a certain way, then that's when the cognitive dissonance becomes really obvious and uncomfortable, and you get these little feelings and these inklings of, well, maybe I should look at that, but no, it's too uncomfortable because that'll require a lot of change, or it'll, your integrity is then in question. However, if you are already in a place of feeling this cognitive dissonance, you cannot plead ignorance anymore. You cannot. Cognitive dissonance is a place that the universe brings you to make you change. You can choose to stay there and stay the same, but that's usually where a lot of the numbing devices come in, and you try and stay stuck in this comfort, which becomes more and more uncomfortable because you cannot be ignorant to it anymore, because you felt the pull to change and you are resisting it. And that is where the pain comes in. You have this this cognitive dissonance, this disharmony in your mind. Now, this is all very well and good to identify what cognitive dissonance is, but it's not a place you want to stay. So to move through it, there are lots of different energetic healing techniques that you can do, but for some really accessible and easy ones for you to drop into, like now, if you needed to, there is breath work, which pulls you into your body. So cognitive dissonance is happening up here. It's usually the pull between the head and the heart, right? You're trying to make reason with it in your head, but there's this pull in your heart that's really kind of not making things feel right. No matter how much logic or sense you try and put to something, it's the pull of the heart that is making it not feel right? So we can drop into our body. We can use breath work for that. We can use ecstatic dance. We can use running or working out. But with that, it's not a mind thing. You will not mentally figure out cognitive dissonance. It needs to be felt out, right? And through the feeling of it, that is when it's going to make a lot more sense cognitively, right? So some of the ways that you can do that is literally holding space for the possibility, not deciding that whatever it is that you're feeling into is true. It's not about making the decision. It's about entertaining the possibility that there is something there for you to learn, that there is something that you don't yet know, that there is something unseen that is maybe muted to you, but is starting to become clear, right? It's holding space for understanding that you don't know something that is possibly soon going to be illuminated to you. So the cognitive dissonance is actually your ego resisting change. We want so much to be right that we look for all of the reasons why we're right and all the reasons why someone who has a different thought pattern to us or belief to us is wrong. And in the end of the day, there is no peace in cognitive dissonance. But there is peace in allowing and challenging your mind and opening up to different possibilities. And when you challenge the truth, truth is eternal. Truth is universal, right? So usually it's going to be a matter of a perspective change and not a truth change. The way that you view something. So really dropping into finding where it is in your body. You're going to work through it more through your heart, through your body, than you are going to figure it out in your mind. This is a space where intellect will not win. I am sorry, but it will not. You can have all of the information in the world that will disprove your belief, and yet people still hold on to it because of their ego, because of their fear, because of so many different reasons. But one of the best places to find your intuition in your body, to look at these different, there are 3 different centers mainly in your body to look for your inspiration. And that is your sacral chakra, which is really quick with its information, right? It's a quick feel. Then there is your solar plexus chakra, which is more of a slower feel, but it's consistent, right? And then there's your heart chakra, which usually is a secondary confirmation to your sacral chakra, honestly. And it's interesting too that the sacral chakra is around your guts. So I think I posted a post earlier today about how your gut, like you have 3 brains and one of them is in your gut, and that's like your intuition, your intuitive brain is in your gut. So, you know, that's food for thought. But where we overcome our cognitive dissonance is not through our mind, not through our intellect, it is through our body. So find a way to drop into it, feel into it, allow. Journaling can become really, really good, but journaling really, it only becomes good after you start to hold the possibility for something new. So after you drop into your body and feel it out. And look, it's really uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to feel into things that you're not willing to entertain as true. And I've had to do this a lot. This is the shadow work, right? Being open to the possibility that the outcome is something that you don't want it to be. That's the freaking ultimate shadow work. And unfortunately, you are going to be pushed more and more and more in a particular direction, and the discomfort will last for longer unless you entertain, and just honestly entertain it. And it might not be true. And there's been so many times when, for me, that possibility isn't the solution, but because I allowed myself to entertain it as a possibility, then I was actually able to move and shift a lot of energy, and it moved me closer to what the outcome was or what the insight was that I needed. I hope, let me know if this isn't specific enough. I'm trying to not give too many personal examples, but maybe that's what I need to do. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And let me know if there's anything that you've had some cognitive dissonance over too, or if you've got questions about it, because that's what I'm here for. I want to help. Yeah, I love you guys so much. I mean, goodness, I get so passionate and I love talking about this sort of stuff. I love the energetic shifts that people go through. I love watching people evolve, and just when their eyes become luminate with their own truth or a perception shift, it's such a beautiful thing. Have an incredible Wednesday. I love you so much. Bye.